Vince here with another Grow Joe from the allotment, and I just want to show you one or two things that I've been growing. These things aren't bolted lettuces. This is something called Blanching endive, and this is what we grow it for. Now this one's ready for, she must be obeyed. Who likes this sort of thing? If you can see, what I've done is I've blanched it, which is by putting a bin lid over the top. Here's my old bin lid. By putting that over the top, I'm excluding all sunshine. Now in the books it says you need to go for 10 days excluding sunshine to make these things edible. However, she must be obeyed. As I said there, don't need anywhere near that long. So here's one here that's not quite ready yet. Not gone white. Needs to be as white as possible. Now this isn't a lettuce as it looks, it's a chicory. So they look like great lettuces, but they're as bitter as anything if you try and eat them as a salad plant. But they look great, not even the rabbits will eat them. But they're worth growing apparently for these blanched centre hearts. Now I've got one in the fridge at home, ready. This one's about ready. There's a few here, but they have such a bitter taste in them that apparently they get really sweet once that's happening. Now there's many recipes for them, but I think the one that we are going to be eating is Blanching endive mixed with mashed potato and hopefully covered in lots of dried onions. But we'll see. Now I'm not going to pull these shot ones out. That's because I want them to flower, and once they have flowered, that's my seed for next year. So we'll have a look at them. And these are cucumbers. Now what I've done is I've cooked my cucumbers under this agro net. You've heard me talk about it before. It's quite wonderful stuff, but there is a problem with it because it's so good at keeping out all the insects. Quite often your fruit won't set because it doesn't get pollinated. But however, you can see that's a market more cucumber. And these cucumber are a lot more advanced than the cucumbers that are in the rest of the plot. This whole atmosphere under here is a lot warmer. It doesn't have the breeze, doesn't have the wind. I've picked all the radishes that were under here, and all that's left is weedy rubbish. And these things, which are cucumber melon, which are pretty good for pickles, not much good for much other things. They're very tiny, about thumbnail size. They look like watermelons, and they're quite sharp. They're great for pickles. So if we can grow some of them under a cloche in the allotment, we're doing very well. But this stuff I recommend, Agromesh, please. Lovely stuff, tough as well. There's a couple of things you can put on your cloches. Plastic, which I've tried, which on a cloche this size takes all the water and puts it exactly where you don't want it, so the plants dry out underneath. There's fleeces, which are great for a few months, and then either a passing cat walks by or a dog and they rip to shreds, so a little bit of a waste. This stuff isn't so cheap, but hopefully it's going to do me several years. And you can see, I think I mentioned it last time, there's my cloche now on its sides, so it's raised up a bit. It's probably about the size of a small greenhouse. I made the sides so they clip into each other, so they can be stacked up for the winter. But I'll probably leave them most of the winter like this. Now, if you can see down here, if you can see through the sides of the mesh, there you go. It's going to make the iPad a little bit difficult to focus, but there. You can see the plants growing the other side. Oops, you see the stems. There, you can see the stems there, that's good. Each one of them stems, one of them leaf brackets, will form a Brussels sprout right in the corner, and that'll be there right through the winter, get it firmer and firmer. Now Brussels sprouts are always one of these things with me, they either do very well or they don't do at all. So this really is another try for me to see if I can actually master Brussels sprouts. However, the plants look brilliant, which may be one of the downsides to it, because the better the plants look, the healthier the plants look, less likely you are to have tight Brussels sprouts at the end of it. So we'll just have to see this. The plants certainly are doing well. I've never grown better ones, and as you can see the enormous leaf cover of it, that would be eaten to bits by now by pigeons and covered in caterpillars if it weren't for the net. The net has kept these clean. Found one or two caterpillars, because the butterflies get so desperate they'll lay eggs on the mesh, and then the caterpillars hatch and can drop down on them, so you have to look after them even then. But it's made them possible here, whereas normally it's just not. Okay, and that's here, Vince here on the Grojo for this week. Won't be doing so many just lately, we'll be getting a little fewer because I'm a bit busy at the minute, but I'll try and put as many and post as many as I can. Okay, it's Vince here, stay safe and keep growing.